Hi, friend. For today's Petit Chats, let's talk about something I know very little to nothing about weightlifting. You would never tell the person lifting a lower weight to build up to a higher weight that they are babying themselves. You won't tell them that you're keeping yourself weak by carrying this tiny weight. You should just skip. You should just skip. You wouldn't say that. Why? Because we know that there is a physical component of our body, the muscle, that needs to grow before we can carry a certain weight or something like that. Like you need to build up to it because it's a physical skill. But for like emotional skills, there tends to be a lot of advice about just deciding to feel different, deciding to be positive, deciding to relax, right? And to a certain point, it is true that emotional stuff is a lot squishier than physical stuff, like skills, because it all happens in our brain and it has to do with memories and retention and patterns and memory, like muscle memory, emotional memory, the stuff that our body remembers. It has to do with memory. And a lot of it lies in the subconscious, and then there's a conscious part where it feels like we have absolute control of, and to a certain point we do. But our brain is still a physical thing. And our memories, our skills, the whole act of learning still happens in a physical plane. And when we learn things, there's still a physical thing happening, which is the synapses or whatever, or the pathways or whatever. And when we're getting better at something, the pathways get smoother, the memory strengthens, and it is still a skill that you need to develop, right? Even if you don't talk about emotions, if we think about something else that happens in the brain, which is learning, like learning math, learning a skill, learning a language, you still need repetition, support, and you need like a balance of skill versus challenge that will allow you to progress. Otherwise, you can overload your system. And even in the sense of weightlifting, if you lift too heavy and you're not ready for it, you can just break something, or you can break the weight, or you can break the gym and break your gym membership. But it will backfire up to a certain extent. But somehow, because emotional stuff is very squishy and kind of invisible, like we don't have a physical muscle we can see, the brain is inside there and it doesn't necessarily change its appearance when we change our memories, our thoughts, or whatever, then we tend to feel like maybe we can just decide things and we should just choose to be resilient about some things. And I think it also has to do with some cultural things that we have passed down and maybe believe as a collective, where there's this false dichotomy between the individual and the collective, of like, if you choose to prioritize your own emotional regulation, if you choose to prioritize your own mental health, it could be seen as you're choosing that over the resilience necessary to help others, or like you're choosing your peace over being of service to others. But if we remove our preconceived notions of separation, the collective and the individual are one. The collective is made of individuals, and these need to happen simultaneously, where you're taking care of yourself to increase your own capacity to be able to help others. You're building up your emotional muscles so that you can carry not only your own stuff but other people's stuff. But at the end of the day, each individual is positioned in a unique um, position of being able to help themselves directly and in developing their own capacities, then everyone can come together and help each other. Basically, what I'm saying is don't feel like if you're not able to do what you think you should be able to do emotionally, like you're like too stressed about something, you're like not ready to have a certain conversation, you're like, think of it as you're not saying no to doing what you think is the goal thing or like the correct thing to do, but you're honoring your current capacity so that if you stay in that area of balance between skill and challenge, then you could have a chance of developing enough so that you could get to a place where you could do that thing that is right now too hard for you. And that's okay. Just because you know something is possible, um, like a hard conversation or like um, let's say like a more stressful situation or like maybe a bigger assignment in your job, in your business or whatever, a bigger step, a bolder, bigger step in life in general, just because you know that's a good thing to do, and it is possible to just jump in and learn the ropes, right? You are valid for honoring your current capacity, but you need to hold both things together where you know that the brain is squishy and sometimes when I mean squishy, like more flexible and there are more possibilities than like a physical object that you could just like you could see like with the muscle again. Let's go back to the muscle again. The um the proportion of the strength is visible through the physical object, right? But the brain is very squishy and there's a lot of going on in the subconscious. There's so many possibilities, more possibilities. But you are the person in the unique position to be able to build sensitivity and knowledge of yourself to know what you're capable of. And in trying to expand yourself, also try to care for yourself. You don't have to carry it all. You can carry as much as you can and just try to keep prioritizing your emotional regulation so that you could be at an optimal condition to take in more and to learn more and to love more and whatever else you want to do.